So we've been doing so well recently that we were almost completely out of parts. That being said, I did find two pretty good combo deals on my local Facebook Marketplace. So for our first combo, we ended up getting a AMD Ryzen 5 3600X slotted into an MSI B450 Gaming Plus Max ATX motherboard, along with a kit of 2x16 DDR4 RAM clocked at 3200 megahertz, along with a semi-modular 650 watt from EVGA, it's 80 plus bronze to juice it all up. So for our second combo, we actually had a CPU with some bent pins. I went ahead and straightened those out, and then I realized maybe you guys don't know how to do that or would have liked to see something about doing that. Either way, let me know down in the description if you guys do want to see that. I can make like a short or something on how to straighten those out. Anyways, let's check out what we got. And for our second combo, we got an AMD Ryzen 5 2600G slotted into an ASRock B450 Pro 4 motherboard, along with a DDR4 kit of 2x8 clocked at 3200 megahertz as well, all being juiced up by an EVGA Supernova Next 650G 80 plus gold. Alrighty, so I went ahead and hooked these guys up as test benches, but because neither of them came with GPUs, I went ahead and pulled out my Radeon HD 5770 blower. This is just my test graphics card. I mean, I know it works, so let's go ahead and slot this in and see how it goes. Alright, so that pretty much went as well as possible. Not as good as what we usually make out, but still better than what we should be making out. I have some great news. We have finally hit $0. We have officially made back all the money we've invested. So this is the last episode of Brick by Brick. Season 1. Season 2 coming soon. New rules. So if you're an avid watcher of Brick by Brick, you might realize this machine right here. We built it for a commission a few weeks back. I think it was like episode 4, maybe. As you can probably guess, considering the fact it's still on my bench, the person flaked. They never picked it up, which honestly might just be a good thing because the EVGA 450 power supply is whining. I turned it on to make sure everything was working fine before I did anything with it, and it started coil whining fairly badly, and I don't feel comfortable selling that to anyone without disclosing it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that switched out. I'm also going to go ahead and switch out the RAM from 16 to 32 and probably just yank this cable off because I'm going to be switching it to be a blue build instead of a red build. And that's going to be going to another person who wanted a commission done for streaming and playing Fortnite. So this machine should do perfectly fine on that one. It's blue this time. It's not turned on, but you know what I mean. And with the part changes, the new build price, $305. All right. Now I'm basically just updating Windows. I already downloaded all the apps for him. I also went ahead and got Epic Games just because I know he's gonna be playing Fortnite. It's pretty much gonna be ready to go after I just go ahead and update the Windows real quick. But before we do that, haha, I know, I'm such a tease. We got another PC, $400, gonna test it. In all seriousness though, it has an RX 5700 XT paired with a Ryzen 7 3700X, 3800X, one of the two. I don't think both of them exist. I'll correct myself in post. Well, that's not good. We also bought a B550 from the same seller. Here's the price for that as well. Now we can start building. Right after a word from our spot. You thought I was gonna say sponsor. We don't get those around here. That's why you should subscribe. Joy to the world, because it is Christmas season. And you know what that means? It's PC commission season. So we have two $800 PC commissions that we're gonna be working on. We're only gonna get one done this episode because I still gotta get the parts together for the second one. However, I did get a down payment, $400 on each. So we better get started on this now. Starting us off, because I did get that down payment, I am fine doing a little bit higher than what we normally do. So we have this PNY 3060 12 gig model. I got this in an earlier episode. Ended up being about $100, which is an absolute steal for a graphics card of this quality. And to go with it, we have a Ryzen 5 5600X slot into an AORUS B450 Pro 4. Now, sadly, I couldn't find 2 sticks of 16 gigs, but I could find 4 sticks of 8. Moving on. And then for our juice box, we have a Powerspec. I know, it's okay. It's Powerspec, but it's 80 gold. We're good. The Powerspec 80 Plus Gold 650 watt semi-modular. It's got everything I need. And it doesn't explode. And then to pair with our CPU, I also got a really nice deal on this Thermalright Phantom Spirit 120 SE. Of course, going along with a 1TB nvme SSD. So right now we have a bit of a blackout theme going on, but I did still want to add some RGB, but instead of making it vomit, I wanted to make it tasteful, you know, like a delicious pie by chance. So I went ahead and picked up an Aqua 5. Because we've used the 3 and we used the 7. Let's try the 5. So I did want to mention, I did get that comment about leaving the peelies on. I would do that if I was shipping this, but I'm not. So I'm gonna take it off, especially because a lot of my clients are like dads buying them for their kids and they don't feel comfortable taking like the side panel off to like unpeel it and all of that. So I just handle all of that for them. That being said, so this is the Aqua 5. Instantly bonus points because I can just do this. There we go. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed or not, when it's the first time I'm using like specifically a case, I do like to do little reviews just because I think they're interesting. Instantly, the first thing that caught my eye with this guy is these are actually reversed fans. So not only do we get intake on this one without having to switch it around, unlike the Aqua 3, we also don't have to see the great side of any of the fans. Again, unlike the Aqua 3. This thing is about $15-ish more on Amazon. It's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit nicer. It does also have room for fans up top, but you have to buy those separately. So that all being said, still pretty good value. However, I think if you're going to be just flipping MATX builds, I would probably say that the Aqua 3 is still better overall. However, this is a really nice alternative. Okay, now that I have the GPU in, I really don't want to start cable managing tonight, so that's gonna be a tomorrow problem. And it's the next day. I got it all put together, all wired up, try to spin it up. It's not working. Let's do some troubleshooting. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, now we need to turn this off before it overheats because there's no cooler on the CPU. However, I did realize, number one, I was using a B450 with a 3060 and a Ryzen 5 5600. Like, what was I doing there? So I went ahead and switched out for the 550. It works. I'm gonna have to double check that motherboard because I did test it when I first got it. Maybe a trace got scratched on it, or something that's more than likely is the BIOS isn't updated all the way. So it just wasn't supporting the right chipset for the 5600. I'll try it with an earlier CPU later. However, I did have to completely rip this out, so let me reinstall it real quick. I wanted to be in bed by now. Alrighty then, now that that's finally finished, we can go ahead and check out the build. Already looking pretty sick, but when it comes to PCs, it's not all about looks. So I went ahead and did some stress tests. Here's our FurMark, and here's our Cinebench. And along with those stress tests, I also went ahead and ran the benchmarking tool on Cyberpunk. You'll see the results on the screen now. Thank you everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.